Paul's love for his people. Hello. In our previous devotion, we looked at Romans chapter 11, verse 13. Let's look again. Now I am speaking to you Gentiles. Inasmuch then as I am an apostle to the Gentiles, I magnify my ministry. In our previous devotion, we read that quote, I magnify my ministry. And it has not been concluded yet. But before, we understood that to mean that Paul honored his ministry. Now we're going to learn more about why Paul honored his ministry. More about this from verse 13 is Paul explaining why he magnified his ministry. It's because he wanted the Jewish people to be jealous. Well, how could Paul make them jealous? Well, he turned away from them and he went to the Gentiles to share God's promises that before were given to the Jews in order somehow to make my fellow Jews jealous. We have learned recently that Paul himself is a Jew. We learned this from this verse here because he said, my fellow Jews. So the Jews are his group. There's other verses in the Bible that talk about this same thing. Paul replied, I am a Jew from Tarsus in Cilicia, a citizen of no obscure city. I beg you, permit me to speak to the people. I am a Jew born in Tarsus in Cilicia, but brought up in this city, educated at the feet of Gamaliel, according to the strict manner of the law of our fathers, being zealous for God, as all of you are to this day. Well, Paul himself was a Jew. He wanted to make his own people, the Jewish people, jealous. But what for? Let's look at the next part of verse 14. And thus save some of them. Okay, now we understand clearly. Paul wanted the Jewish people to be jealous, so he shared the gospel with the Gentiles. What? That got their attention. He wanted more and more Jewish people to be saved from the sins in their life and be drawn to God. It's clear. Paul's heart had been touched. He was thinking about his people, the children of Israel. He wanted them to become saved. The next devotional video that we'll have is about verse 15. We will learn what Paul's personal reason is of why he wants people to be saved. Coram Deo. To live coram Deo is to live one's entire life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, to the glory of God.